Are you in a position of caring for a loved one with dementia? Or do you think that at some point in the future you may be in this position? If so, this video is being made just for you. My wife doesn't complain. She never has. But I watch her and I see what this is doing to her. She helps keep track of my medications. She goes with me to every doctor's appointment that she possibly can. She listens to the doctors and the nurse practitioners explain what's going on, not only in my brain, but in my body as well. And she does all of this without being asked, without acknowledgement, and without a break. I have Alzheimer's, but she is carrying it too. When people think about Alzheimer's, they think about the patient, the memory loss, the confusion, the decline. And that is real. I live that every day. But there's another person in this story. Every single person with Alzheimer's has someone on the other side. A spouse, a child, a sibling, a friend, someone who chose to stay, or possibly felt they didn't have any other choice. We call them caregivers. I also call mine my wife. And today, I want to speak directly to every caregiver watching this. Not as an expert, not as a doctor, but as the person you are caring for. The one who sees you, even if you think we don't. Here's what I want you to know. We see the grief on your face when you think we're not looking. We know you are mourning someone who is not yet dead. You're grieving the person we used to be, the future we had planned, the version of us that existed before this diagnosis. The grief, it's real and it's valid. We see the exhaustion, not just a physical exhaustion, although that's real. I mean the exhaustion of always being on alert, always waiting, always watching, always wondering, is today going to be a good day? Is today going to be a bad day? Is he or she okay? Did he or she take their medication today? Did they take the right amount? Did he forget something dangerous? You already work, a lot of you, at one job. And coming home does not mean you're off duty. Which makes me think of a line in the movie China Beach. Great show, great series. I fell in love with Dana Delaney during that period and am still in love with her. But at one point, she was talking with one of the doctors and said something about being off duty, and the doctor's response was, "There's no such thing as off duty." That is going to apply to you as a caregiver for someone with Alzheimer's. You're never really off duty. And that vigilance has a cost, and we can see you're paying for it. We also see the isolation. The friends who stopped calling because they didn't know what to say. The family members who went quiet. The events that you stopped going to because you felt you needed to be home with us. You gave up your world quietly, piece by piece, but you gave it up. There are no more spontaneous plans, no more easy weekends, no more being just you, without also being a caregiver. I see it all, and I'm telling you now because I don't say it enough. There is a moment every morning before the day gets complicated where I sit with my coffee and I watch my wife get ready for work. She has a routine. She is organized because she has to be. Because her day revolves around making sure that I'm going to be okay. I don't often tell her what I notice, but I do notice. There are things that every caregiver needs to hear from the person they are caring for. Things we rarely say, because Alzheimer's doesn't make it easy to say them, or because we're so focused on our own experience that we forget about yours. So I'm going to say them now, or try to say them. You are allowed to be angry. Not at us necessarily, but at the situation, at the disease. Alzheimer's is relentless. It asks more of you every single day. If you feel resentment, that does not make you a bad person. It makes you human. You are allowed to ask for help. Caregiving was never meant to be a solo endeavor. If you are doing this alone, that's not a strength, that's something that's unsustainable. Find your support, a group, a counselor, one person who understands. You need somewhere to put this. I was in healthcare at a time that hospitals, at least some hospitals, did respite care, where you could coordinate with the doctor, and if you were a caregiver for someone, a family member, you could put that family member in the hospital for a day or half a day, so you could have some alone time or run errands. Unfortunately, the government and the insurance companies have put a stop to that. I don't think anybody does that, hasn't done that in a long time. The guilt you carry is not a verdict on your character. Every caregiver I've read about, every forum, every group, every conversation my wife has shared with me carries some guilt. Guilt for losing patients. Guilt for wanting a day off. Guilt for grieving. You are not failing. You are carrying something that would bring most people to their knees. And this last one is the most important. Taking care of yourself, that's not being selfish. The unique thing about caregiver burnout is that it happens slowly and then all at once. By the time most caregivers recognize it, they're already past their limit. You cannot pour from an empty vessel, as the saying goes. And we need you here. That means you need to be okay too. I relate it to being a parent of small children. Did you ever get frustrated with your kids and let your anger out on them because they didn't do what you wanted them to or didn't do what they were told? We're not that much different. Our mind is probably quite similar to a young child as the Alzheimer's progresses. If you are a caregiver or know someone who is, I want to hear from you. Leave a comment. Tell me what you need. tell me what nobody is saying. Because I think there are a lot of people watching who feel like they're doing this alone, and they're not. I want to make videos that help, and your suggestions will help me do that. Next week, I plan to do a video that is a little more in-depth into the patient-caregiver relationship. My wife and I have been figuring this out as we go. No one handed us a manual. There's no roadmap. But here's what we've learned. While all couples need to be able to communicate openly and honestly, we didn't do that enough. But we communicate more now than we ever did before the diagnosis. Not because it was easy, it is often quite hard. But we decided that the silence would be more costly than the honesty. When I'm having a bad day, I try to say so. And unfortunately, it's happening more and more. And if she's overwhelmed, she tries to say so. We don't always get it right, but we do try. And it's important that we don't make it about each other, the other person. It's not personal, and you can't make it that way or take it that way. Alzheimer's is a disease. It's nobody's fault. We also made a decision together, a hard one, to plan for what comes next. We talked about end-of-life wishes. We talked about what happens when I can no longer make decisions for myself. These conversations are never easy, but having them now, while I still can, is one of the most important things we have done. And if you haven't had those conversations yet, please do so. There will come a time when it's not possible, and then it's going to be too late. And one more thing, and perhaps one of the most important things, is that we still try to find the moments that are good. Take a walk. Enjoy a cup of coffee. Watch a television program together that we both enjoy. Alzheimer's is relentless, but it has not taken everything, at least not yet. The unique thing about this disease is that it moves slowly, and the space between who I was and who I'm becoming, there is still time. There's still a life. There's still an us. What do you wish other caregivers knew?
I think in thinking about this, there's a couple of things. One, as Greg has said, the communication is key, but not just between him and me, also between our family. Maybe not the best communicators about what's going on, but I'm trying to improve, make more of an effort reaching out and letting them know, because they don't live really close, so they don't see our day-to-day. So trying to work on keeping those lines of communication open. And then the other thing, again, as he's mentioned before, you have to take care of yourself in order to be able to take care of your family member. There are lots of resources people don't even know how to tap. Working in a hospital for a number of years, I've learned along the way that case managers are so valuable to people, patients. They have all kinds of resources that can help you. Yes, some of them will cost, but other ones may be very low cost. They can help you find programs for even, a respite hour here or there, Meals on Wheels, things to help you out with that kind of thing. but they can't help you if you don't ask. And sometimes that's the biggest hurdle.
If you are a caregiver, I want you to know what you are doing matters. It is hard. It is invisible to most people. And it will ask more of you than you ever expected. But you're not invisible to us, the people you care for. I see my wife. I see what she carries, and I'm grateful every single day that she chose to stay and fight this with me. I'm Greg, and today I'm winning this battle, but I'm not doing it without her.